Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classic. This episode number 2588, double number 2482. First up we have is the penultimate trade to discuss for Silver Surfer, Citizen of Earth, which collects the first 6 issues of a 14-issue volume. Now, I should point out this is the last known ongoing Silver Surfer ongoing series ever released, because since this series came out, we've had like 3 miniseries and like a one-shot, and actually 2 one-shots, and that's it. Though, when I come back to Silver Surfer after this one, I'll be discussing the last issue of this run, plus the annual came out in 2018, which is not in trade for some reason. Nope. Now, in these issues, it's basically like, yeah, we're back! Book has been restarted because of basically Marvel Loves #1. So, the book is back, and we have Silver Surfer on Earth for the first few issues of this book. Yep, Silver Surfer is on Earth, interacting with Dawn's family. Yes. Yeah, where in these particular books, we find out that apparently that, like to come back to Earth, and of course basically see Ben Grimm, we see the debut of a character named the Keeper of Truth. The Keeper of Truth turns out to be a construct of Shala Baal, Norrin's ex-girlfriend. Yep. And of course in these issues, and this is quite interesting, the citizens of Norrin's home planet try to invade Earth in the opening issue of this book. Yep. The Zenlavians. Yep, that's kind of in a way the first few issues of this book is them versus that. And we have Surface apparently dying in issue number 4, though he comes back in the very next issue. He gets brought back, and we have guest appearance by the Avengers team at the time, which is Vision, Tony Stark, the Sam Alexander Nova, Kamala Khan Marvel, Miles Morales, Sam Wilson, and the Jane Foster Thor. Yep. And of course he comes back. Of course, he also gives people these special rings. And of course, they all get revived. Yep. And then of course, basically, then issue 5 is something that I have got to rant about, because this is Silver Surfer meeting the Unseen, aka Nick Fury. Yes, and Dan Slott being one of 3 writers at Marvel Comics to remember, oh, Nick Fury's on the moon. Yes, seriously, Silver Surfer meets the Unseen. He also, Unseen also tells, oh yeah, I murdered the Watcher. Yes. That was something Jason Aaron did. Now, Jason Aaron had him pop up in Unworthy Thor. Mark Waid basically had him pop up in his run for Black Widow. And this is the only other book that he appears in. And you're like, really? Yes, really. Because, apparently, this is the period of time where, readers remember the fact that he's there. But, apparently, Marvel Comics was like, we're going to ignore the moon. We're going to focus down here. Despite the fact we're going to space. We're going to pretend the Unseen is not there. Because, apparently, all the rest of the writers of Marvel Comics, except for Jason Aaron, the guy who started all that, Mark Waid, and Dan Slott, these 3 writers, everybody else basically does not bother to mention the Unseen at all. The fact that this is really stupid. You would think they established him as a new Watcher because Watcher's dead. He might occasionally appear in comics. No, his appearances were very, very rare. Even more rare than the Watcher. It's basically all the other writers of Marvel Comics had this thing where, they were just pretending that never happened. The whole thing with Nick Fury and the Unseen, it was they're pretending it happened. They're basically just ignoring the fact he's there. And by the way, if you're curious though, oh my gosh, it's been 10 years since Original Sin, where, does Nick Fury Jr., Nick Fury's own son, does he know he's the Unseen? Nope. Never does. In the past 10 years, nobody in Marvel Comics has ever written a comic where Nick Fury Jr. has gone to the moon to see his father. Never. Ever. And I do not know the reason for this. It's like the readers remember the fact he's there. The writers pretend he's not there at all. Now, I'm glad Jason remembers, because he's the one who did it. Mark Waid just did it because, let's have basically during the movie just meet up with Nick Fury. Silver Surfer makes perfect sense for him to basically react to basically Nick Fury the way he did. But, like I keep mentioning, and then here's the strange thing about this. Like, Nick Fury, prior to this one comic book, his last appearance was Unworthy Thor. Yeah, that was chronologically his previous appearance, because that Unworthy Thor picked up because that first issue kind of in the way picked up between the volumes, because this is chronologically his next appearance, but it came up before that. And then right after this, he pops on the Black Widow issue, which I just discussed. Yep. And then here's the strange thing about the Unseen. After these 3 comic books for Nick Fury, one of the coolest characters in Marvel Comics, yes, after these 3 comics individually, like, did he appear in any comic book after this? Did he bother appear? Well, aside appearing when he started in Black Widow, he did do a cameo in Black Bolt. It's only a flashback. Yeah, but I'm talking about present day stuff. Let's see. What about Jessica Jones? For Jessica Jones, it is I think it's a flashback. Yeah, I think it's a flashback. Yep, it's a flashback. Here's surprising. He appeared also in Exiles. Yes, he appeared in Exiles as a recurring character. Spider-Man Deadpool. Flashback. Yeah, like a lot of time, only in flashback. You cannot appear in present day for some stupid reason. I do not know why this is. Yeah. Yeah, and get this. What's the most recent comic he appeared in that was present day comics? You could kind of say it was probably the Fury one-shot, celebrating 60 years of Nick Fury. That's probably the most recent thing that he was involved in. But in actuality, his last known appearance was in Fantastic Four, Volume 6, number 45. Excuse me. Dan Slott's final comic he worked on for the book before he handed off. I think it was his penultimate issue. Yeah, it was his penultimate comic he worked on for the book. Before Dave Prowse took over the last couple issues of the book before it got restarted. Mm-hmm. Yep. But, and here's the thing, here's another rant I'm going to do. Issue number 6. Which is deemed to be issue number 200. My rant about this is the fact that I kind of concluded by calculation that the Greg Pak run was part of this numbering. And this issue is actually not 200, but it's actually number 2 something. Let's see, what number was it? It was, let's see. You see, in actuality, this book is actually issue 205. Yep. Believe it or not, this is actually 205. Why do I think it's 205? Because for some stupid reason, Greg Pak's miniseries is ignored part of the numbering. I get, okay, they include the first volume, which was 18 issues. They include the one-shot second volume, the 146 issue third volume, the 14 issue ongoing. They include all that part of the numbering and these 2 volumes. That's it. I'm glad Parable's not added because that's not canon. But this book, I'm like, Slott, why the heck did you ignore the Greg Pak numbering? The book was good. Why? Because it was a mini-series, so oh, God forbid we not include a part of numbering, despite the fact that was the most recent Silver Surfer book was released, and you ignore that part of numbering. Because at the back of the book, they have all these comic books. They have all the Silver Surfer comic books released prior to this, and they don't include the Greg Pak miniseries. Apparently, that doesn't count part of numbering, because it was a miniseries. And yet they included one shot. Does that make any sense to you? Nope. But here's the thing about this big double-sized issue. Because the last big triple-digit issue we had prior to this was in Kenny X-Men 600. It had multiple artists. But here's the problem. It was a regular-sized issue, not a double-sized. This issue was double-sized. At least Dan Slott realized that, because even he realized, though, yeah, Bendis, why the heck are you releasing? You have a 600 issue for Kenny X-Men, and you have a regular size issue, and you're printing a story that allegedly had it where possibly Iceman was gay, which I still think was stupid. Yeah, I read the issue like, yeah, this is the earliest point we think he was gay. No. Friends, obviously, but no attraction to guys. A lot of people still think that outing Iceman as gay was a really stupid idea, but these opening 6 issues are good. I think that the 200 issue was actually the final issue of the previous Flame, not this issue. The only reason why Slott made this 200 because he worked on it. Yes. That's my rant about it. And, well, also this issue has a cameo by Spider-Man out of costume. Yep. Fun fact. The only comic Peter Parker appeared in that was written by Dan Slott outside Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, and it was, I think it may have been the first time that, I don't know if this is true or not, but I believe this may have been the first time that Peter had been drawn by Mike Aldred. Yes. You know, thinking, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting, the fact that it's like that. Mm-hmm. Now, as for why in the world this was, I don't really know. Honestly, I'm trying to find the page because he's appeared like, oh my gosh, the guy's appeared out almost 5,000 comic books. It's like basically I should have done this before. Here, I think I'm getting close. Let's see. He appeared in some, but not a lot per se. It's almost like, yeah, Slott had this thing where like, oh, let's have him not appear in events he should be appearing in. Like Secret Empire. Yeah, he should have punched the crap out of the fake Captain America. Nope, let's have him hide in China for this whole event. Yes, seriously. I could probably give flack to Dan Slott for that. But these opening 6 issues are really good. I'm going to give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. Next up is the Prince Namor, the Sub-Marner miniseries released in 1984, written by J.M.Dematteis. Yep, in these 4 issues, this was actually the very first Namor solo book released since the cancellation was ongoing, and probably the first major book he's featured as outside Defenders since Superman Team Up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only 4 issues. Yeah, only 4 issues. And Vishanti is the leader of the Council of Elders in this book. Mm-hmm. And of course, the book itself basically has a lot more Namor wearing his cape, and he has to go to the surface world because of stuff. Yeah, we also first appearance of a member of the royal family named Lord Dora. He first appearance in this opening issue, he gets killed off in the next book. Mm-hmm. We also first appearance of this woman named Jacqueline Truffett. Yeah, she just appears in this one miniseries. Yeah, uh, and then like she appears in the next book, which we'll discuss that next time. But she appears as a normal human, and then she turns into a mermaid halfway through the book. And it's implied in the book that she and Namor are a couple, and then she doesn't appear again after this. So she pops up Saga Sub-Mariner. There's also been a minor bit of politics here, where at one point Namor is deemed unfit to be the ruler of Atlantis because of his consulting with Surface World. He's also trying to, let's say, reestablish his ties with the Surface World. By the way, the co-writer of this book is Bob Bosky, who also does the artwork too. Yeah, we also have appearance by the Mad Twins, who appeared in issue 3. Bridge appeared 3 and 4, and that was it for them. There's one character, Sucker. He appears in this book, and it's like mostly put characters to first appear in this mini-series here appear like once after this, and that was it. It's almost like either Marvel was embarrassed by this mini-series or something else. We also had a thing called Dragon Rider, and that appears a little bit more after this miniseries wraps up. Like, right after this miniseries wraps up, like, next time we see Dragon Rider is actually in New Thunderbolts. Yep. There's an Atlantean shapeshifter who only appears for 2 issues. Yeah, it's like, okay, Marvel just reads, oh yeah, it's a miniseries, let's not have Namor and like maybe like 2 or 3 others. He's also acknowledging his father in this miniseries as well, which kind of like basically puts him to rest. For Shanti, like, some of you might think, okay, does he appear after this miniseries wraps up? He does. Next time he appears is in the finale for Saga Sub-Mariner. And then he appears as a recurring character in Namor the Sub-Mariner series. He's appeared sporadically since then. His most recent appearance was in Atlantis Attacks miniseries. There's also a guy named Warlord Tekos. He actually first appeared in the Fantastic Four first annual, and he appears in his miniseries. He first time appears in issue 16 of the Namor ongoing. After this, well, he appears in Alpha Flight, an issue of Saga Sub-Mariner, and appears in a couple issues of Namor the Sub-Mariner, and that's it. It's almost like, yeah, let's just basically retire all the characters who appeared in this miniseries. By the time the series wraps up, let's just basically retire them. Yeah. For, like, no reason. Yeah, and also one of the characters for this book, a guy named Jekka, who's one of the warlords of Atlantis. He first appears in the miniseries, and he gets killed off at the very next issue. Yeah, he was a minor character. Yeah, he appears for like one comic and gets killed off here. Yeah. I remember also there was this Atlantean soldier who criticized Namor, and her punishment, send her to the darkest dungeon. Despite the fact she was actually correct in the criticism. He just didn't like being criticized. It's an okay miniseries, nothing terrible this one. We give it roughly a 8 out of 10. Okay, so that's episode review. I'm gonna go for a bit and be back for some anime and my other comic corners. There's about 3 more left to do. Yep, 3 more. Okay, next video. Bye.